Hello, what's up, and welcome to the Weekenders. This is the show where we normally talk about the biggest football games of the weekend, but there are no football games, and there will not be football games for quite a while. But we do talk football, so um, I'm excited. I'm Max, joined by Lexi today.
Yeah.
Um, we normally got Bobby on the show as well. He's coming on a little bit later, but Lexi, it's been a while. How have you been? I'm excited to talk football again.
Yeah, it feels like it's been so long since the Super Bowl when in reality, what, like a month and a half? That's crazy. And I'm happy to be back and very excited to be talking football, free agency, and the off season.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, the news of football never stops. And, I remember when I was younger, like I dreaded all those months between the Super Bowl and, the first game of the season felt like forever. But now with the news cycle, we always feel like we're still talking football all the time, even though football season is over. Um, and one of the biggest the two biggest topics that we've heard about so far have to do with quarterbacks. As per usual, we talk about quarterbacks a lot, but Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, we're going to talk about those two guys on the show today, get into which teams that we think are doing good so far this offseason, give some teams some props. And then I believe one very, very important news item that we didn't have to, we didn't instantly react to, uh, but we now that we've had some time to marinate and think about it, we can definitely have a good discussion about is my Carolina Panthers trading up for the number one overall pick in this year's NFL draft, and what that means for the team and what they could do with that pick. So we'll talk about all that on this show. But let's start with Aaron Rodgers because I feel like that ball is about to drop soon.
Yeah.
Um, there's been rumors about who he wants. Well, he's still on the Pat McAfee show that you know think he wants to be on the Jets or his next team will be the Jets or whatever. However he put it. So we know that's what's happening. The deal between the Packers and the Jets has not transpired yet, but they have made some other moves, like signing Aaron Rodgers, one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite weapons from the Packers, Alan Lazard. There's also rumors that Odell Beckham Jr. is close to a deal with the Jets. Other weapons, the Aaron Rodgers,
I saw
obviously,
Ezekiel Elliott was like, he even
yeah,
said, I'm like,
yeah. So I mean, things are moving in the right direction for the Jets to be an attractive destination for Aaron Rodgers. Not to mention, they've already got great young receivers. Sauce Gardner on the defense and a good, defensive coach in Robert Saleh. So, I mean, Lexi, you have watched Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North for years. Tell me how you feel, um, and what you think Aaron Rodgers Jets team will look like next year if the deal happens. Which it seems like we're just waiting for it to go to the news to come out soon.
yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm happy to just not have to face him anymore. He's like one of the players I've despised most in the pros. Um, but to be honest, as much as he causes drama or maybe kind of has fallen off these last couple years, I think a change of scenery is what has been needed, and hopefully just for him, not for the Packers. I really hope they suck for a while. They need to, but if he gets all these weapons and goes there, and because that was always the problem, in Green Bay. They would never give him weapons, which yeah, it works out. He's only had one Super Bowl his whole time there. But if the Jets and Robert Saleh, like, they all want to give him the weapons that he's asking for and giving that possibility, then yeah, they could be a dangerous team. I'll say it. I mean, as much as I'd like him to retire, he still, I feel, has got enough pettiness in him that he will go until he can. And, I think it'll be like I don't want to say the Tom Brady going to the Bucks, because God forbid, I do not need him winning another Super Bowl in New York nonetheless. But it's probably going to be like that. Like, he's going to have something to prove, to show that he can not, be just as good, if not better, finally leaving that organization and such. So, we'll see, but I think the possibility and the ceiling can be pretty high there for him if they follow through and get him all the people that he's, asking for, that are saying they want to go there.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the Tom Brady to the Bucks comparisons as well, especially in this aspect, in that Tom Brady, a little bit different but sort of the same. Tom Brady goes to the Bucks and he's like, "All right, Gronk, all right, AB, like, come join this team, like, you know, let's go out and win a championship." And in a similar way, I feel like Aaron Rodgers, whether it's debatable, and we don't know whether he told the Jets to go out and sign certain people or not, but we know they did sign Alan Lazard. We know, like we just talked about, there's other guys interested in going to that team. So sort of the same way Tom Brady was able to go to a new team and bring people with him, although the Buccaneers were already in a lot of ways established when he got there.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, sort of the same thing. The Jets already have some really good pieces. They got a guy who can coach defense. They brought in Nathaniel Hackett, who's familiar with Aaron Rodgers. So on the offensive side, they'll have what they need, plus the weapons. So who knows if it turns out the same way? I think the AFC East is a tougher division than it has been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the Bills, of course. Miami's a frisky team, and of course, I don't know how good the Patriots will be, but Bill Belichick is not an easy coach to get wins against. So, no matter what the circumstances. So, I think that this could be very interesting. The AFC is a gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that. Let's start
Yeah.
there.
Aaron
So,
Rodgers should
like,
get a wake up call. Like, you thought being
yeah,
NFC North was like, some
yeah,
cakewalk, like, psych.
yeah. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. I think it'll be interesting. Like, all his antics are gonna be amplified because it's New York City and everything. That's all gonna be interesting. But I think this is why so many people love the NFL, because like it just has like the stories and the
The
possibilities are
drama.
just like
Give me the
the
drama.
drama. It's just it's palpable. It's there. It's like, and then like we haven't even talked about the fact that like this is the same move that Brett Favre made, all those years ago. Like he goes from the Packers to the Jets after he unretired or whatever. Like it's just history repeating itself. It's so funny. What do you think? What do you think that? Do you feel like the Packers actually believe in Jordan Love after he's been on the team all these years? On the field, I haven't really seen anything that like has really wowed me in his play. But the Packers, I think, are ready to move on. They seem to be very supportive of him. Do you think they actually believe that Jordan Love can be the next guy for them, or is it just lip service?
I mean, this is just exactly the same situation, in my opinion, of like the whole Brett Favre leaving, and when he was behind Favre. I mean, it's hard leaving your comfort zone regardless, and I know they were probably nervous when Brett left, ironically, to the Jets. But I think that if they, you know, are believing in him now, it's just that's enough, because you're kind of just going in blind. I mean, you've had the same quarterback for X amount of years, only one before that for X amount of years. So every time the Packers shift in a quarterback, it's going to be like nerve wracking for them. But I haven't seen a lot, but I really never saw a lot from Aaron Rodgers at first, and then it was like boom, But I guess we'll see. I mean, I'm not saying I wish him to fail, but I don't need the Packers to be good for a while. They need a little streak of some bad play here.
Yeah, I think I don't know about the Jordan Love thing. I think they just want to. I think they're so eager to get rid of Aaron that they're just putting their arms around Jordan Love, and hopefully after all this time sitting behind somebody like Aaron Rodgers, you would hope Jordan Love maybe has developed some you know technique and skill to be able to succeed. But then I worry about again like the weapons. We'll pause. Bobby.
Thank goodness. Oh
Woohoo!
my
All
god.
right.
It took like 10 years to get that thing going. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
It just came out of nowhere. Like I did a pod yesterday even. That's why I did two. I'm so confused. Like why it just didn't work, but here we go.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the Packers, who are putting a lot of support around Jordan Love, saying nice things about him, basically saying, "Hey, we're ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers because we feel like we have something in Jordan Love." Do you feel like that's the truth coming out of the Packers camp, or is it just lip service because they're just ready to move on from Aaron? Bobby, yeah.
Oh, me.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
bad.
yeah,
I'm
My
sorry.
bad,
Yeah,
my
I
bad.
already said.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's tricky. I think they're pretty done. I think and I think that's pretty understandable given the pretty rocky performance last year and just the general Aaron Rodgers antics we've seen. I think they're done. I think they're very done.
But do you think they actually think that Jordan Love is like a good quarterback, or is it just like we're so done with you that like we're just gonna like
Desperate
be
times.
thirsty for Jordan? Like, do you think he's shown anything to you? I mean we've seen him play a couple times. Like, has he shown anything to you in your eyes to say like, yeah, this is a good move, or do you think it's just lip service from the Packers?
No, I gotcha. He's shown a bit. I don't think he's not the. I'm still not sure he's the franchise guy. But at the same time, I think he's shown a solid amount, but it he hasn't had like the same tutelage that Rodgers had under Favre. Rodgers was, I think, really, really ready to take that leap. Not quite sure Jordan Love is yet. But at the same time, just with everything, I think that it's a proper time to move on. But I think he showed enough given the circumstances. I'll say that. Because the Rodgers that we have now, I don't know if he's on the same tier as the Favre we had when Rodgers took over. That was still a very good Brett Favre when he retired, and obviously came back, played a couple good years for the Jet. 2 good years, one for the Jets, kind of until he got hurt. One good for the Vikings, where he almost won a Super Bowl. I don't know if Rodgers has that in him yet, but I don't know. I think simultaneously in this case, it's like both the guy taking over and the guy who Jordan Love is replacing, Aaron Rodgers, aren't as good in that situation. But I think it's still time to pull that trigger, time to pull that lever, and hope that something works out.
Yeah. So, I mean, my perspective on it is Jordan Love hopefully has had enough time behind Aaron Rodgers to hopefully, like at this point, if he doesn't come out and show you like in the first 6 weeks that he's capable, I think you got to move on because this is his I don't know 4th or 5th year. He's been a backup behind Aaron Rodgers. Like you got to kind of make the decision quick. Don't linger with this. Like, figure out if he's your guy. If not, move on. The quarterback class next year in the draft is way too deep for you to hold on to Jordan Love if he's not showing you that he is capable. And with that said, the Packers also need to, whether it's Jordan Love or some other guy, need to do a better job of adding weapons around whatever quarterback you have, because right now, like the weapons in Green Bay are bad. Like they don't have much to work with. So I think either way, the path to success for the Packers needs to be investing in the pieces around whatever quarterback they choose. But I think whether they believe Jordan Love is the guy or not, I think they are rolling with him. But to me, I think he's had plenty of time to show, again within a relative amount of time, if he deserves a chance to be the franchise quarterback for the Packers moving forward or not. I think so. He's like, again, he's been there for a few years now. You got to make the decision if you're the Packers and decide your plan moving forward and start over from scratch if you have to. But we'll see what happens there. I think the Aaron Rodgers to the Jets thing is looking like that's probably going to be the next domino to fall in the NFL, unless we see some movement with another high-profile quarterback, and that's Lamar Jackson. Now, let's kind of paint this picture real quick, and let's talk about what's happened so far. Lamar Jackson obviously is up for a new contract. The reports coming out from his side of things was that he didn't want the franchise tag from the Baltimore Ravens, and he definitely did, and he wanted a guaranteed contract from whatever team would sign him if it wasn't the Ravens. The Ravens haven't re-signed him. The dates came for that, didn't happen, didn't get a deal done, didn't want to pay him the guaranteed contract, and we saw several teams come out and basically say, we're not willing to sign Lamar Jackson, and they didn't all give a reason why, in their reports, but it all came out. Reports from specific teams were different, we've heard all kinds of things, but the general consensus has been it looks like teams don't want to give Lamar, a guaranteed $200 million contract, whatever it may be. Now, for the people saying why not, I think we have to really think about. I think we have to really think about Lamar's career in totality. We can't just say, he's a however old he is, 26, 25-year-old MVP. That's great. That's all true. He's won a lot of games in the NFL. That's very true. But he's also had a lot of injuries here down the stretch. And we're talking about giving a player a guaranteed contract. If you're looking for the best interest of your organization, you're probably going to be nervous about giving guaranteed money to a player that may not be available to play based on his recent history. Not like oh, he got an injury his rookie season and he's been healthy ever since. No, he has missed games as of late. So I think that's what teams might be thinking, and also could be a lot of other things involved, like not wanting to set a precedent moving forward when they negotiate deals. Although I would argue the Browns screwed that up by the contract they gave Deshaun Watson because it set the precedent for what we are dealing with now with Lamar. So I want to hear from you both. First of all, do you feel like Lamar Jackson deserves what has been reported that he's asking for in a guaranteed contract? And if you do, and you think he's done with Baltimore, which that's been reported as well, what team do you think makes the most sense for him? And I also should add that the most recent reports are that from his team is that he never asked for a guaranteed contract. So we should say that as well. Both sides of the coin have been well reported, but I just wanted to add all that for anybody that wants all the information in the context. This is where we're at now, and we don't know, when or if Lamar will sign a contract anytime soon. But either of you can take the question. What do you think he deserves the money and guaranteed? And where do you think he goes, or where's the best? What team will be the best fit?
Yeah, I mean, I've personally always been a fan of Lamar, and I think that he is very good. And I'm not sure why he hasn't been paid because I know that it's like the way he plays, the stats, everything. He's incredible. I know that he's had his downfalls and stuff, but I mean, any other quarterback that I've saw get paid the amount they have, that's just crazy. I would be giving Lamar that before Deshaun Watson. Let's just say that. But you bring the age into it and you bring everything. I think it's really hurt him being his own agent too. I think that that's been a huge thing in this all, but it's a learning experience for him. So, it is what it is. But I keep hearing, that he's, the Lions could be a destination for him to land. And all these moves that Brad Holmes is making for like the just whole, I think there's like 27 million total, and like someone was like, "Oh, that's the exact amount it would get to bring him over here." No, but I mean, I think the Lions is a weird possibility. I don't really know if I want it to happen considering everything, but I think too that maybe the Raiders. I don't know. I don't know where he would go. Like I'm trying to think about any destination. I don't know. 49ers maybe. I don't. I really honestly, it's just all kind of in the air at this point, and really near the top. I might say that he could even stay at Baltimore, even over any of those other teams. So we'll see, but I don't know. I mean, right now everyone keeps saying the Lions, so we will find out, I guess.
Yeah, fit wise, I have no idea because Baltimore feels like a really good spot, and right now I don't. I'm trying to circle a place in my mind other than as Lexi mentioned Detroit, but also maybe I know the Bucks just signed Baker Mayfield, but that doesn't really mean anything. I don't know. Because a lot of free agent money's drying up, and that's the biggest problem with this Lamar situation is all this money is asking guaranteed. It's drying up. It's going to be harder and harder to get a fully guaranteed deal where we're at in free agency right now. And it's one of those where, yeah, I mean, look, Sean Watson's getting that money. Lamar definitely deserves it. But I don't really, that's also kind of like on the front office of the Browns. And thinking about Kyler Murray's money that he has, it was something like 165 guaranteed up to 135. Or sorry, not 135, up to 235 million. That seems similar to me. That feels like a good Lamar Jackson contract. But if he's so stuck on this guaranteed deal, I just don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if I think he's looking for what 200 million guaranteed, something like that. Which I just I don't know. It's never been done before, and with his injuries and everything, I know that's just not. That's just not probably feasible. And I get the whole like guaranteed money thing. It's tricky because you look at the NBA; those contracts fully guaranteed. Bless you. But I don't really know. I really don't know if that is very possible in the NFL. And I don't know if Lamar Jackson, unfortunately, is going to be the guy to get that. Just with how everything has gone, the situations right now, the league doesn't seem like just flush with cash at the moment. There aren't particularly any quarterback hungry type of franchises. I mean, I guess if Jordan Love goes down, they don't really want him. Bring him up to Lambeau, but I don't see Lamar wanting to go up to Green Bay, Wisconsin. But who knows? So all that to say, yeah, he deserves it more than Deshaun Watson, but fully guaranteed, probably not.
I think the tough part about all this too for Lamar is that you just had a quarterback, the best quarterback in the NFL, in Patrick Mahomes, signed a very team friendly contract. Like he got paid a lot of money, but like it's the way it's structured is like, yeah, we're gonna be able to bring other players in, and I'm not taking up, a large percentage of the cap, which, you give a guy a guaranteed contract that's $200 million, like it's going to take up a big amount of cap space. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things right now. Like, they don't want to set a bad precedent moving forward. Teams are literally watching, teams win Super Bowls on either team friendly contracts for the quarterback or quarterbacks on their rookie contract. So the NFL's already decided, okay, the best way to win now is to have a quarterback that's not expensive and use that money to build around, said quarterback. So I think it's just not a, I agree with Lexi on the agent thing. Like he's got to get an agent. Like it can't be your mom. Like no disrespect to the Lamar Jackson family, but get a real agent and also just like understand the nature of the league that you're in. And at the end of the day, like players deserve to be paid, but I think there's not enough emphasis placed on um, the players that get their money and they win championships because they took deals that did not hamstring the franchise for decades or whatever it may be. Um, we saw that Tom Brady did it that way, and yes, he was married to Giselle, but Tom Brady, made his money, had tons of endorsements. Like he's fine. He's gonna be okay. You know, with or without Giselle, like he was getting paid for sure. Um, Patrick Mahomes, same thing, making his money, tons of endorsements, doing well with a team friendly contract. Um, Tim Duncan, and this is the NBA, but like Tim Duncan took a lot of team friendly deals to make sure that the Spurs could continue to win. So, like, you know, I feel like these guys that um, do it that way, like, always kind of get the best of both worlds. You don't really you see a lot of examples of guys that get big contracts and don't win anything. It's just like I feel like I would rather be the option where like I'm winning championships and like I don't need I don't know, and it's easy for me to say this because I'm not being I'm not in a position to make that much money, but like I just think like we've seen two different ways that it could go, and if I'm in Lamar's shoes, maybe I'm like, you know what, I like the way that kind of allows me to have a good team and a competitive team, especially if you want to stay in Baltimore. The AFC we just talked about, the AFC is a gauntlet. So like, the Ravens, I understand from them, like they're like, we need to compete. We can't just Lamar Jackson's to this point hasn't been able to win us a Super Bowl by himself. Like we're gonna need to bring in guys to help us to win. And if we give this guy all this money, like it's gonna be impossible. We're gonna have to you know, be perfect in the draft. And, even then when you're good in the draft, you gotta pay guys you draft eventually. So I don't know how this is gonna get resolved. I guess if I had to answer the team fit question, um, I mean, the Packers make a lot of sense. I don't want them to come to the NFC South, but
I don't want
uh,
to be in the north. Stay out of the north.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the NFC South, but the Falcons could kind of make sense as well. Um, the Raiders is an interesting call out, but I think they're way too broke for Lamar, and they just brought on Jimmy G. So if that tells you anything about what they're thinking,
Yeah.
a lot of people have said the Colts as well. But again, you're in the tough AFC, so you got to think about if that's a move they realistically want to make as well. They got a lot of cap space though, so they could make it work. But
And to think a year ago they signed Matt Ryan.
yeah, yeah,
And what before that they had I'm blanking. Phil
Carson Wentz.
Rivers.
Phillip Rivers, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Carson Wentz.
Oh, Carson Wentz,
No, it was Wentz and then Rivers.
Rivers,
Yeah,
That.
Wentz
yeah.
then Rivers. You're
Oh,
right.
geez, yeah.
What
Well,
a terrible.
one would be Lamar would be better than all three of those guys. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be the same situation, but it'd be kind of funny if they just kind of kept doing it. Also, Baltimore losing another very important football thing to Indianapolis would be unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I,
That was. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I will say overall though, like your point about balance, is so important. You quarterbacks, while they're the most important position, they're crucial. You're totally right, because the second you start having to pay your quarterback, the quality of team always dips. So you got, if you're the Ravens, you've got to stick to your guns here and have a lower contract for Lamar. Sadly.
Well, sorry, I thought I was going to cough. All right. Well, what's not sad is that my Carolina Panthers have the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. So we're very happy about that. Swindled the NFC North bottom dweller Bears out of
Bottom dweller Bears. Yes, I love it.
Gotta take a shot at Chicago real quick, but got the Bears out of their pick. I feel like, folks can debate me on this. It's fine. I feel like the Panthers underpaid for that swap, but it does put them in a position to do what all signs and reports and everything says that they will do, and take one of these young quarterbacks in the draft. So I'll pass it along to Bobby first. Bobby, tell me how you feel about the trade up, first of all, and then tell me who you think they take with the number 1 pick.
Oh, I think the trade up it's a good move. I don't hate it. As you certainly know, the Panthers have been searching for a quarterback for literally pretty much since Cam left. It feels like Cam left, and they tried to replace Cam with everybody, including Cam again, and it just has never worked. So start fresh, start new. Hope it does. Whoever you pick doesn't turn out to be Jimmy Clausen, and I think they have some good options here. I wouldn't do Anthony Richardson. And if you've been listening to this show all the way back from the very start of like college football, I was a big Anthony Richardson fan overall, but he just kind of dipped as the season went on. Mm-hmm. He's an incredible athlete, but I don't think he has all of it together. I personally, I don't know. I guess I would go with Stroud, but it's so tricky because I think Bryce Young is also an incredible talent as well. But man, I don't know. Give me CJ Stroud, but I think between those three guys, those two guys specifically, it's a pretty big crapshoot.
Yeah, I think I like the trade up. Like you said, it's like they need a quarterback. I just am glad it's trending away that my team was like, trying to draft one, but I think that it's been kind of going up with CJ Stroud. I think he's going to end up being the number 1 pick, which is, I guess something to think about considering just considering statistically Ohio State quarterbacks that have like come into the league. It's very intriguing to see. And I mean, like I said, I wish them the best. When they go into the pros, it is what it is. But I think he'd be a good fit on the Panthers. I'm just still, with Bryce Young, I'm just so weary of his size. And that's like kind of one thing that's like in the back of my mind and what seems to be with the way it's trending, maybe in the back of Carolina's mind with that pick, because I think they're really going to go with Stroud. So we'll see, though.
How do you guys feel about the Bears, like, trading down? I mean, they got The ninth pick, which is still a good pick, they can add a solid player in the top 10. And they got DJ Moore, who don't tell any Panthers fans, but I think DJ Moore is overrated. but they got DJ Moore, who I mean overrated like in general, but would be the best Bears receiver they've had in a quite a while. So, um, you know, yeah, they got DJ Moore and obviously some other trade assets. Excuse me, some other draft assets with the additional picks they got from the Panthers, the 61st pick this year, and I believe a second rounder 2 years from now, and the first rounder next year. So, yeah, they got all that, and they got a weapon for Justin Fields. How do you feel about this for the Bears?
DJ Moore and DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, man, wow, what a pair as a receiving core. Oof. But I like the move overall. I think it was very much a QB heavy draft, and trading down, trying to diversify it out, and add strength and add depth to your roster in lieu of getting a new quarterback when you have Justin Fields right there. That's the right move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it was the right move because they're investing in Justin Fields, get a little return capital on like that number 1 pick. So I don't think like the Bears fans think that they're just like all of a sudden going to win the North after only winning 3 games last year. So they think DJ Moore is like, I don't know, one of the top receivers in the league. I'm like, says who? Like all of a sudden you're going to be like good, and it's like Justin Fields isn't even like that good of like throwing right now. Like I've only seen him be elite with running. So I don't know. Anyways, I don't think they're going to be very good this next season. Still, I think it's going to be a little bit, but I think it was a smart move for them to at least trade down. So
I think it was a move in the right direction for them, and I completely agree. I mean, people were acting like DJ Moore was like Devontae Adams. I was like, come on, like.
I mean, he went from no weapons basically to DJ Moore. That is a big jump.
Yeah, like it's great for the Bears. Like, I'm happy for DJ. Like, I think he's a good player, but like, as somebody that watched him for a few years, even with considering the context that the quarterback play was bad for a couple of those years for the Panthers, like, I don't think DJ Moore is like a game changer in a way that like acquiring again like a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams. He's not that tier receiver. He's more your Allen Robinson, maybe Robert Woods type, like CeeDee Lamb, maybe not even as good as CeeDee Lamb, but like a guy that's like, Amari Cooper, maybe like good to have, solid, can be very reliable, but like not some like game changing wide receiver. I don't think like that's who that guy is. But again, for the Bears who have not had even like a number 2 quality receiver, this is a big get for them, and I think you want to continue to take these steps and invest in your young quarterback who has shown some flashes in Justin Fields, who I also wish Panthers fans would get over. Like, we didn't take him. Like, it's okay. Like, move on. Like, it's fine. Like, Panthers fans don't get over that. But in terms of who I think they should take with the number 1 pick, and obviously we'll have these conversations more down the line. We'll do mock drafts. We'll have more draft talk on this show. But for right now, I think my gut preference would be C.J. Stroud. I didn't see the like special that everyone else saw in a lot of his career at Ohio State. I thought he played lights out against Georgia in that game in the semifinal in the college football playoff this year. I thought he was phenomenal, but I watched him in a lot of other big games, and I thought, he's okay. Like I get why people see him as a top pick, but he's also thrown to a lot of wide open receivers, and I think that's kind of
best wide receiver core in college football, nonetheless. So
yeah, yeah, that's the thing. It's like that's like yeah, like he throws a 10-yard pass to Marvin Harrison Jr., who takes it 70 yards. Like, he gets credit for the yardage, but it's like his job is easy. I don't think like there anyway, whatever. But yeah, so I had my reservations about Stroud, the hype, and everything like that. I I think the situation that Carolina's putting would put around him, from the coaching staff um, to some of the weapons they've already signed. They could still add more. They could still draft guys. They have lots of picks in this year's draft from the CMC trade, so they'll be okay. Like, they're not out of picks. I think they could still make it. I think they could support him with enough for him to be successful. Um, Bryce Young, I think, is a more talented passer, from you know the poise aspect to his accuracy to his pocket awareness to his movement, agility. All that stuff is great, um, but I think durability is a real concern with him. And if you're talking about the number one pick, I think you probably go with the guy that uh, you're not afraid is going to be, on the injury report, especially when you're trying to capitalize on, again, a rookie contract and go far in the playoffs. So I would say right now today, Stroud would be my preference for the Panthers to take as a Panthers fan. But you know, they got a lot of this. They got a long way to go in this process. But um, it helps to be at the top. Like, I don't know what Texans fans think right now, but like, I'm sure they're nervous about whatever's going on. But the Panthers trading up to one, I think was a good move. I had heard that people kind of suggest they move up to like 4 or 5, and you know take Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, and I thought that was a horrible idea. But the fact that they traded up to one, I feel a lot better about, because now they can take a guy that's at least maybe you know has a chance to be a franchise quarterback rather than a project. So there you go. Uh, oh, sorry, I thought somebody was just saying something. But yeah, no, lots more. We'll do more draft talk down the line, but very interesting to see what happens with that. Let's move on to our final topic on this show, and it is teams that have done well in free agency so far. Let's give out some report cards, or not even report cards. Let's just give a shout out. Let's go around the room and say, "Hey, I think this team is doing really good this year. I mean, in this offseason so far. Here's why. Here's what they've done, and maybe, yeah. Let's stick with positive this time. We won't trash any other team just yet. Maybe we'll wait till after the draft to do that. But for right now, let's give some props to some teams that have done well so far.
I mean, I'm just going to come right out the gate and say the Detroit Lions are on fire. And Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes. It's pretty incredible, though. I mean, not having competence in the front office, basically my entire existence as a Lions fan, has been, very hard. So to watch this, and it's not just like people want to come and play there. These players are like, hey, I'll take a little bit less or whatever and come, because I see like the culture that's being created and the how they finished off the second half of their season. So and just filling in so many holes. Cornerback, we really needed to fill in. We got like 2 guys there, filling in more parts in the defense, a couple on offense. He's done so much and done so well that I'm like, well, with all this draft capital they have coming up, I'm sitting pretty and not even really worried about what he does. I'll just trust it, But it's not even me being a homer. It's just crazy to see how finally, the Lions have got, this competence in the front office to recognize what we need and not really, fall short. So I'm giving them an A. I saw that before, like last week, before this last, CJ Gardner, that they were like saying, oh, it was like a C minus or whatever. But I think that they just have done incredible. So I'm just giving all the love to my Lions on that one right now.
I'll tell you a guy, instead of a team, really a guy, I feel like, and a team, I suppose, as well, who I think did well. Got to give a shout out to Orlando Brown for his massive, massive deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. That fills a need for what was a just truly incredible team. They were one singular play away from another Super Bowl, and they filled one of their biggest weaknesses, which was that offensive line. Signing Orlando Brown to, I believe, $64 million, one of the richest deals for in that position is truly unreal. I mean, we are only a couple years away from making the jokes about Burrow just getting steamrolled, and the only hope he had was to just throw it to Jamar Chase and hope it gets to him while he gets hammered. So protecting Burrow, protecting that backfield in Cincinnati, that's going to be huge. So Orlando Brown, he's my winner of free agency, but I think the Bengals also got a lot better offensively with that. It's a big signing that a lot of people probably wouldn't have really. I mean, it's a big deal, but the biggest headlines don't exactly apply to the biggest players sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'll say too. Also, the Jets. They're preparing to bring in Rodgers, so they're really filling in a lot of missing pieces that they didn't have before. So I will say that they're right there behind the Lions and making some stellar moves for their squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on the Jets. I like the Saints. No, I'm just joking. The Saints suck. I hate the Saints. Derek, have fun with Derek Carr. I actually like what the Texans are doing. The Texans have had some good moves so far. Very much under the radar. Obviously, they'll have the number 2 pick, so they'll bring in either C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. It looks like they're gonna have one of those 2 guys at quarterback. So that'll hopefully bode well for them. But they've also had some good signings this offseason. Jimmy Ward, Robert Woods like kind of got swept under the radar with all the receivers that the Rams had in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Robert Woods was one of those big contributors on the Rams and got hurt, I believe, in the middle of the season, which led to them bringing on OBJ. And so Robert Woods sort of got forgotten about, but he's a really good receiver. And they signed him for a 2 year, $17 million, a really good contract, I think. And I think Robert Woods is going to ball out for whatever young quarterback they get for sure. So I think that was a great signing for them, as well as signing a veteran backup QB in Case Keenum. They got Chase Winovich. They got Shaq Mason, who's from the Buccaneers offensive line. So the Texans making some really good signings. Getting ready for whoever the Panthers don't take at number 1. But yeah, that's my winners for the offseason. So I mean, that's one of my winners for the offseason.
Yeah,
so far.
And not only that, but adding Dalton Schultz and Devin Singletary, just 2 players who I feel like are super easy to work with quarterbacks, super good safety nets. I like it.
Yeah, I forgot to mention those 2. Yeah, Dalton Schultz was a really good signing for them too. Devin Singletary, I feel like didn't get enough. Devin Singletary showed flashes, but unfortunately, the Bills don't like to run the ball unless it's Josh Allen. So he just wasn't in a good situation in Buffalo. But I think I could see him balling out in Texas and Houston for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, now you have like that really fun 1-2 punch with him and Dameon Pierce. So that's a fun backfield.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Something to think about when fantasy football time comes around for sure. But this is the show. Appreciate everyone for tuning in with me, Bobby, Lexi, for another fun episode of the Weekenders. We will be back, not next week, but shortly, because we're ramping up for the draft. That's going to come up soon. No promises, but the hope is we'll have a draft expert on to kind of talk through the draft, maybe do a little mock, and then get you ready for the draft coverage and everything after that. So, pleasure. It was a pleasure seeing you guys again.
Yeah.
We'll do it again soon. Until next time.
See you guys.
See y'all.